So, if you were on social media this weekend, and if you weren't, congratulations, you have a life. But a story was spinning around on X after a supposedly conservative influencer named Ashley St. Clair announced that she had given birth to a baby 5 months ago and that Elon Musk is the father. It was just kind of a weird space to be in and a weird conversation to watch unfold. But a lot of people had a lot of opinions about it. So, let's get into it. Welcome to my channel, Outspoken Samantha. I appreciate you being here. Do me a couple of favors, hit the thumbs up button, become a subscriber to my channel if you're not already, and turn on your notifications so that you never miss out on a conversation like the one we're about to have. So I have to admit, I did have an underlying feeling of ick in talking about this story because I generally don't like talking about people's personal lives and drawing attention to their drama like this is some kind of garbage reality TV show. However, there are times that we are forced to care just a little bit about the personal lives of people running in our government or who claim to represent our side of the political aisle, at least if you're on the right, because we know that if you're a Democrat, then you can do things like make at least 30 trips to Epstein's Island or date a Chinese spy or shower with your own daughter, and those things are fine. But as a conservative, these things do tend to matter a little bit more. So I'm going to just lay out what Ashley St. Clair said, which she released on X this weekend, some of the responses, and then we'll analyze everything at the very end. So here we go. So this was the initial tweet that Ashley St. Clair put out on X. It says, 5 months ago, I welcomed a new baby into the world. Elon Musk is the father. I have not previously disclosed this to protect our child's privacy and safety, but in recent days, it has become clear that tabloid media intends to do so regardless of the harm it will cause. I intend to allow our child to grow in a normal and safe environment. For that reason, I ask that the media honor our child's privacy and refrain from invasive reporting. Now, as I said, this was kind of a wild thing to hit the social media waves. And I was like, I don't really want to care about this, but I kind of do, which is weird because people's personal lives are none of my business. But then again, we live in a day and age where nothing is private and everybody puts their personal lives on social media. So my mind was just kind of going through all of the phases of what do I think of this? And there were a lot of people that had opinions on this. And then there were people that had opinions on other people's opinions. And unfortunately, it was just a situation that created a lot of arguing amongst the conservative commentator group. But in response to the initial reports, we did get a lot of comments from Candace Owens, Jack Posobiec, Elijah Schaffer, Lila Rose. So let's just go through some of the things that they had to say. Candace Owens says, children should always be off limits. Journalists are parasites. Hard to imagine going through this with a young one. Better to come out with this one on your own terms. George and I will be praying for you, Ash. Account by ALX said, God bless you and your family. Would be nice if legacy media did actual reporting on important issues instead of intruding on people's personal lives and seemingly intentionally putting children in danger. Unfortunate we live in a world where that's the reality. Keep fighting. Ben says the whole world is so lucky you've brought life into the world and the whole world has got you and your family's back. I sometimes have some accounts muted, so when I unmute them, I realize who it is that I blocked and then I remember why. Pearl Davis says congrats on single motherhood. You know, I don't like Pearl Davis, but I'm sorry that was kind of a funny comment. Bobby Starbuck says, congrats, Ashley. The world needs more based babies. It's none of the media's business, and it's vile that they plan to go to out your private business and Elon's. Kids should be off limits. Elijah Schaffer says, a baby is a gift from God. Congrats on the little life and new family member. May the dishonest media get effed and stop harassing you. Terrible you have to deal with this. Hoping you can raise that baby away from the nasty journalists. Be blessed. Lila Rose says, congratulations on your baby, Ashley. We'll pray for you guys. And Matt Gates says, this child has incredible genetics. Much love to this wonderful family. You may already be developing your own opinions about the response from a lot of these big conservative personalities. On the flip side, we had this response by someone named John Root. He says, protecting your baby is admirable, but I cannot understand why this is being celebrated by conservatives. Ashley St. Clair is just another example of how promoting traditional family values is all a grift. This woman has been seen as a leader among conservative influencers. Really? We don't need to shame her through the streets, but this is not conservative or based. Call it what it is, a selfless decision by both Elon and Ashley leading to a baby baby out of wedlock that will unfortunately grow up without a father in the home, like tens of thousands of other kids. This is awful. What happened to, I just want to husband 2 kids in a small farm? Oh, that's right. It was all a grift. Like many females claiming to be Christian and or conservative, spew for clicks, follows, influence, and hookups. So those were basically the two sides of the argument, trying to figure out the appropriate response to this kind of thing while also upholding the traditional values that we stand for, while offering compassion regardless of the decisions that led to a particular circumstance, because we all make mistakes and we are all sinners. So after everybody kind of weighed in with their opinions, an article was released in the New York Post where Ashley shared her story. And I am going to go through a lot of it because it talks about at least her version of how the relationship started, the requests that Elon had about her pregnancy, and other things that add a lot of context to the situation, at least from what we know now. Says Ashley St. Clair, influencer who claims to have had Musk's 13th child, reveals life of secrecy after whirlwind romance with down-to-earth billionaire. I opened the article just talking about how she posted this thing on social media and that the outlet sent people to her apartment to interview her. They go on to say that Musk has not publicly acknowledged the allegations. And then it goes into comments by Ashley's representative, who is apparently a guy named Brian Glicklich, and some of the things that he is saying about their situation. It says Ashley and Elon have been privately working towards the creation of an agreement about raising their child for some time. It is disappointing that a tabloid reporter who repeatedly ambushed Ashley and her family made it impossible to complete that process confidentially. We are waiting for Elon to publicly acknowledge his parental role with Ashley to end unwarranted speculation, and Ashley trusts that Elon intends to finish their agreement quickly in the best interest of the well-being and security of the child they share. It goes on to talk about how they first connected on Twitter, and basically that Elon Musk DM'd her. She said at the time she didn't particularly have much interest in Elon other than his acquisition of Twitter. She first became aware of the billionaire thanks to her gay best friend, who frequently asked her to watch videos of Musk's SpaceX rocket launches. She says at one point he messaged her and asked if she ever comes to San Francisco or Austin, to which she responded, because she was working for the Babylon Bee at the time, that she comes to San Francisco pretty frequently for work. And after that conversation, apparently the Babylon Bee CEO, Seth Dillon, asked her to fly to San Francisco to interview Elon Musk. Seth Dillon has responded and said that he didn't appreciate the insinuation that he facilitated this whole thing and that he was the puppet master behind the meeting, because he is claiming that asking her to go and interview Elon Musk had absolutely nothing to do with their personal interaction. After that, they apparently did the interview and he asked her to spend some time with him. And then she says the alleged romance blossomed from there, she claimed, until she became pregnant. She claimed she was restricted from telling more than a close-knit circle of people that she was even carrying a child. I was told to keep it secret. I was being asked to keep it a secret forever, claimed St. Clair, declining to provide a reason for the confidentiality or any material proof that Musk is the biological father. Musk allegedly provided her with a lavish apartment in the financial district, where rent for a 2-bedroom can soar to nearly $40,000, according to Street Easy, and a hefty security detail, but no romance, St. Clair claimed. The young mother was allegedly forced to spend her pregnancy alone. I was completely isolated during my pregnancy. Every part of my career and everything I used to do, I couldn't do anymore. I was told not to tell anybody, she claimed. Around the same time as her pregnancy, the influencer and author's Instagram went dark for months until she posted a photo from President Trump's inauguration on January 20th. The article goes on to talk about how Elon Musk apparently requested that he be left off the child's birth certificate for safety and security reasons. It also talks about how there were a lot of people that had already been speculating about the pregnancy between her and Elon Musk long before she went public. She says there was a cohort of very violent stalkers who started threatening my toddler. They would send me photos of him with blood and that I would witness his blood splattering death and saying I was Elon's whore, she claimed, fighting back tears as she referred to her older child from a previous relationship. St. Clair emphasized that she was willing to stay silent because it would also protect her newborn's privacy, until a tabloid, which she declined to name, started snooping around. That's what led her to unleash the shocking announcement on Friday, accusing the media of trying to do her and her baby harm. It is very hard to understate how much I am processing right now. I am sad that my hand was forced by the media to do this now. But there is also a sense of relief because I have been forced to live in secrecy for almost a year of my life, she wrote. I cannot explain the kind of primary pain you feel as a mother, and you're talking to people and then ask you about the one kid, and you have to lie and carry this burden in secret. You have to lie to people you love. So after the article came out, people had a lot more to say. People have been comparing her to Meghan Markle, as the royal couple has repeatedly said that they want privacy, yet do everything they can to put themselves in the spotlight. As this tweet from the whatever account says, Ashley St. Clair, please respect my privacy. Also, Ashley St. Clair. And then this article is released. This was the consensus of a lot of people, calling out the supposed hypocrisy of Ashley claiming that she wanted privacy, as she said in her initial post, but then immediately having a public article released the next day. And on one hand, I do see it, because an immediate article doesn't scream, leave us alone so we can deal with this in private, or send the message that you're truly concerned about the privacy of your new baby. However, on the other hand, there are things about it that do make sense, because according to her, the tabloid media had been snooping around about what was going on, and there were people already harassing her about potentially being pregnant with Elon's baby. In the article, it says an outlet had ambushed her family, so we don't know who they contacted or how long they've been asking questions or what information they have already. And we also know, with how the media operates these days, that they don't need much to run an article, because it's rarely based on the facts of the story, but often just based on the story that they want to tell. And we also know that an inflamed narrative circulates far faster than the truth, and it's impossible to change people's minds once they've heard the first version of events, no matter how inaccurate it might be. And that can absolutely ruin people. So in my mind, she approached the outlet of her choice and got the story to them so that she could control what was being said before the dishonest media could do it for her. We have no idea when they were planning on dropping this piece, again, if it is true, so it makes sense that she would get hers out there as fast as possible. In my mind, this story was going to go public one way or another. To me, there wasn't a choice between it staying private or going public. It was a matter of how and when the story hit the news. And the choice was between the tabloid media doing it or Ashley doing it herself. That is, again, if what she's saying is the truth. People have also been comparing Ashley to Amber Heard, preparing for the possibility that she could end up being crazy and trying to be the victim while making Elon's life absolutely miserable. This is a tweet from Joe Rogan Experience podcast commentary. It says, I think we're about to find out that Ashley St. Clair is crazier than Amber Heard. And there are past tweets from Ashley that make this theory that she could be as crazy as Amber Heard entirely possible. So this was a tweet from Ashley in 2020, and you can see at the top here it says, I need to get Elon Musk's attention for a marriage proposal, please, Greg. Greg says he's got a kid with a woman already, seems unlikely to work out. Ashley says, well, he actually has 7 kids and goes through women pretty fast. Another tweet on the account of the quartering exposing some of Ashley's past comments. Ashley said in 2022, Kamala can't help herself from bending over for a man to get ahead. Obviously, it is more than likely that there is far more going on behind the scenes than meets the eye. And even though Ashley is the first to release an article about what supposedly happened, we are at this point only getting her side of the story. And we all know how that played out for Amber Heard once the truth came out from the guy in that situation. And what's funnier about the Amber Heard comparison is that Elon Musk actually dated Amber Heard for a few months in 2017. So he's no stranger to dealing with crazy women. But thus far, Elon Musk hasn't said anything about this situation with Ashley St. Clair, except for one comment where somebody posted this screenshot of Ashley supposedly trying to have Elon's baby, to which he said, whoa. So who knows what's going to come out later. But there are other people that have concerns about the bigger implications of the situation that are definitely worth considering. This is a tweet from someone named Liz Crokin. She says, the bigger story here is that Ashley St. Clair may not just be a fake MAGA gold digger, opportunist, and a fraud. She has all the markers of an intelligent asset who may have been strategically targeting Elon Musk for years to spy, blackmail, and compromise him, just like I believe Amber Heard set out to do. I don't care what anyone does in their personal lives if it's legal and not harming children or this country, no less. With that said, if she is a spy running a honey trap on a powerful man close to President Trump, then it is all of our business, and this should be a concern every American has, as it potentially puts Trump and his administration in danger. Does anyone really still believe that Monica Lewinsky was just an intern that gave Bill Clinton a BJ in the Oval Office. I can speak intelligently on this topic and with great confidence because I have been targeted and harassed by literally hundreds of deep agents and assets nonstop over the course of almost a decade now. I can spot these a-holes from a mile away. There's clearly more to the Ashley St. Clair Elon Musk story. As it stands, it appears she won the golden ticket and played him, but I'm pretty sure she's the one who has been had, and that will all come out in time. So that is currently where we are at with all of this. Now, as I said, I did feel a little bit icky covering this story because it is about someone's personal life, but for me, this isn't so much about Elon and Ashley's personal decisions as it is about the reaction to it. It did feel a bit weird to me to see so many conservative commentators react with such glowing congratulations because yes, of course, a baby is a blessing regardless of the circumstances, and I would congratulate anybody on a pregnancy because no matter how that pregnancy came about, bringing a child into the world is a beautiful, beautiful thing. It would be like if anybody in your life came up to you and told you that they were pregnant, regardless of how the situation happened, because you would still give them a hug and congratulate them. But that doesn't mean that you support the circumstances of how that baby came about or condone their personal choices, because as conservatives, we obviously advocate for strong, stable family units that are whole with a mother and a father, because that's the environment that will create the best outcome for children. And just because the ideal doesn't always happen doesn't mean we can't love and support those that are in an unideal situation. And it also doesn't mean that the ideal is less valuable or not worth striving for or upholding. So I think people were being kind and supportive of a woman with a new baby in a tough situation. And then for people that share opinions like John Root did, I think it is important to put the truth out there because yes, obviously we all make mistakes, and showing compassion and love to those who are in a challenging situation or who we know are acting in a way that is sinful doesn't mean that we support their choices. I do think Daily Wire's Jeremy Boring summed it up pretty well. He says, all I care to say on the scandal du jour, he says, when a person announces the birth of their child, the correct response is congratulations. This is true even if you do not agree with the decisions or circumstances by which a child was conceived. God redeems many poor choices, and the birth of a new human is one of his kindest and most common acts of grace. Children deserve to be raised by a mother and a father who are husband and wife. All have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. It is one of the true blessings of anonymity that the world doesn't see your sin. It is one of the true burdens of a public life that the world does see yours. One of the most influential men in the world having a child with a prominent conservative influencer under novel circumstances is valid fodder for discussion because the parents are both public figures influencing public policy and driving public conversation, at times around the various sorts of social and moral questions raised by their actions. That doesn't mean one's approach to discussing the situation cannot reveal one to be an a-hole. Also, don't be an a-hole. Lastly, somewhere on planet Earth right now, there is an actual human child with an actual mother and an actual father who are also actual humans. That child is precious beyond human expression, valuable beyond the wealth of even the richest man on earth, and filled with all of the promise God bestows on each new person born. May God bless that child and guide its parents, and may his grace be sufficient for us all. And the last thing that I wanted to touch on just briefly is just how much it seems like people are attacking Ashley, but not really holding Elon accountable, because people seem to literally be raking Ashley through the coals, calling her every name in the book and calling out her sins. But Elon definitely hasn't received the same criticism, despite being someone who has 13 kids with 4 different women. This tweet by American Nacho says, Ashley St. Clair is a degenerate, prostitute, and a hypocrite. She should not speak about or try to represent conservative women. She needs to go and take care of her bastard child. That's all anyone should be saying about her. There is no silver lining. It's embarrassing. Whether or not she should be perceived as any kind of conservative personality or influencer is definitely up for debate, but I do think that that is still a really sad reaction because it's too far the other direction. Because something that has bothered me about this situation as well is the fact that Elon Musk is a prominent figure for MAGA right now, yet clearly he does not embody the conservative values that everyone is accusing Ashley St. Clair of making a mockery of. Yes, I absolutely appreciate the work that Elon Musk is doing with Doge and the corruption that has been exposed, and I stand behind everything that I have said about this man thus far. But I do think this situation serves as a stark reminder not to put our politicians on a pedestal, not Elon Musk, not Donald Trump, not anybody who works in our government. We've had to discuss before things concerning Trump's personal life or concerning Pete Hegseth's personal life. Even Kirsty Noem has had some controversy in her personal life. There is a level of separation that needs to be made between our government officials and the work that they do in office versus how they handle themselves privately, to a point, obviously, because none of us are electing our ministers to these official positions, which is why we cannot hold them to that standard. I also think situations like this demonstrate just how big of a divide there is between personal and professional in our government. And it's sad how much bigger that gap seems to be getting. So it's still important to call these situations out and to not be afraid to be vocal about our moral standards and to not move the goalposts on those, no matter how things change in the world, while doing our best to put people in office who will do the best job at serving us and hopefully turn their personal lives around. We also know that the best way to encourage people to turn their lives around is to show them actual love and compassion, which is something that the left doesn't understand at all. Because if you deviate from their values at all, they turn on you so fast it makes your head spin. But it's not like that on the conservative side, which is why I think it's hard to know what the right response is when these things come out. That's all I have for you in this one. I would love to hear your thoughts on this in the comments below. Again, be sure to hit the thumbs up button, become a subscriber if you're not already. If you're looking for other ways to support my channel, there is a Buy Me a Coffee link in the pinned comment below, and your generosity is always appreciated. Other than that, keep it real, guys, and I will see you in the next one.